Boom! Welcome to the very first 4-minute review. And it is a fantastic pleasure to start this with God of War 1. An ancient story with a similarly ancient release date. Back in March 2005, God of War made a really strong entrance for the PlayStation 2 platform, and it still stands today as one of the all-time classic PlayStation games.
I know who you are, Spartan. I know what you've done. I would rather die than be saved by you.
Before we delve into this review, I have to say I am biased towards this game as it was the first game which fully captivated my attention as a young boy, and it made me learn English in order to understand what the whole thing was about. Created by the talented developers at Santa Monica Studio with David Jaffe wearing the director's crown, and published by Sony Computer Entertainment, 2005's God of War brought a lot of fire into the hands of gamers. The brilliant voice acting made the story very compelling. Terence C. Carson doing a fantastic job voicing Kratos, the protagonist of the game who serves the Olympian gods.
And if I am able to do this, to kill a god, then the visions, they will end?
God of War is set in an alternate version of ancient Greece with the usual Olympian gods, titans, and the mythological creatures we expect to see. Most of the story is spent in Pandora's temple, which is located on the back of the King of the Titans, Kronos. The main idea about this game is vengeance, and what this path might bring to anyone who dares to walk it. The youngest Spartan general is facing a life threat and requests the help of the gods, specifically the God of War, and in return he receives the Blades of Chaos, which were forged in the depth of Tartarus.
The youngest and boldest captain in the Spartan army, Kratos inspired fierce loyalty in his men. It had always been enough to carry them through any battle, until this day. The barbarians to the east numbered in the thousands, and descended on the Spartans without mercy.
This event is what started shaping Kratos into the perfect warrior, but eventually he is betrayed, and this is how his justice-seeking journey begins. The character development journey, at least for me, is unmatched when compared to any other video game. From this first installment to the last one, which we will get to in time, we experience how every event in Kratos' life unfolds, and we get to be a part of it, most of the times being in control of his actions by mashing buttons aggressively. This way of storytelling is quite unique, as mentioned before, because it helps create a connection with the character and you actually use pretty much every button on the controller. In terms of combat and weapons, this is possibly the purest display of a hack and slash game. You get many weapon choices and magical abilities to use against your foes, and it feels strangely good to pull out the eye of a Cyclops. Yeah, you heard that right, as violent as that sounds. If we talk about the challenges and obstacles in the game, there's a fair amount of puzzles, some more difficult than others, which complete the adventure that Kratos is going through and the trials he has to pass in order to get closer to the gods and his main goal. Without spoiling anything, as a final thought, this was at its time potentially one of, if not the best game in its category, and it definitely set a standard for the gaming industry with everything it had to offer. The good thing about this story is that it continues with an even stronger sequel, which makes us crave to see every single detail in this portrayal of stubbornness and how powerful setting a goal can be. Will he pay the price for all his actions to achieve this goal? It's time to play the next game and find out.